Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Folks, it's time to pick up where we left off in the Dark Horse comics with Rite of Passage by John Ostrander. Now this happened in Star Wars issues 42 through 45, and they basically deal with Aya Secura becoming a Jedi Knight. Now I haven't talked much about the relationship between Quinlan Vos and Secura, but it's a ongoing on and off thing, you know, because of course Vos was lost for a while, he comes back, he's still her apprentice, things are a little iffy the whole time, they're getting together and they're rebonding again, and now this is a very important time because it's time for her to graduate as a knight, just like we see her in episode 2. This story is no different than any other John Ostrander story. It's fantastic, it has good character development, a good story to go along, you're enticed the whole way through, and it's an enjoyable read. Now to go back on something I touched on earlier, Dark Horse really did a fine job in the era between Phantom Menace and Clone Wars in their storytelling. Sure, there were some books on the subject, which we'll get to one today, but overall it was a lot of comic books in this era, and they did a great job, not only highlighting Quinlan Vos and Ki-Adi-Mundi and their apprentices, but also all the Jedi Masters on the Jedi Council. I mean, if you think about it, how many of them did you really know just by watching the movie? You said, oh look, there's Longneck, there's Tusk for ears, there's Big Ears, and there's Weird Looking Person. I don't know who those people are. I mean, sure, maybe we got a few names there, but we don't really know what they're like. And that's what Dark Horse Comics did. They took those members of the Jedi Council and they gave them personality, and they gave them background, they gave them meaning. And that's another reason why the comic books and the books, the entire EU, enhances and enriches the storyline. Even for the prequels, it does that. Because next time I went back and watched episode 1, when I saw the Jedi Council, just for, what, a minute or so, I was like, hey, I know that person, they did this. Or yeah, I like that person, their adventure they did, or they have a cool lightsaber, or whatever the thing. Dark Horse made an excellent effort to enhance each one of those background characters that we see in the prequels and bring a great personality that we can all relate to in some form or fashion. Okay, so the next story you need to read is a book. We're going back to the books, finally, right? This one's by Jude Watson. It's Jedi Apprentice, Deceptions. And in it, it's following the events that happened after the captive temple. You see, the Chun family still blames Obi-Wan for the death of their son. Now, that was explained in the captive temple. If you want to go back, you can look back over that review. But it picks up from there. And then there's also an unsolved mystery. And how these books happen, it had two parts. One with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, which I love because, of course, I love the Jedi Apprentice series. And I love the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think it's excellent. But then it fast forwards to the present with Obi-Wan and Anakin. And it continues the unresolved mystery or unresolved story from the previous few chapters. This is the first time they ever did a special edition. That's what they called it, special edition, Jedi Apprentice. I didn't really know what that was at first. And then I read it and ended up really liking it. Me personally, I actually like the Obi-Wan Qui-Gon story better. It just reminds me of good old days of Jedi Apprentice, which I love so much. But I did like how they kept the series tying into it with the upcoming, of course, Jedi Quest, which we'll talk about later on. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for today. I will see you next week with another video.